Welcome back from your break, everybody. It is time for our English language arts lesson. And this week we are focusing on supporting inferences with details from informational texts. When you read informational text, you can learn important information about a topic. Often a text will state facts, examples, and other details directly. Other times, however, you must figure out an important idea on your own. To do this, use text evidence and what you already know from experience to make an inference or a sensible guess. Now I'm going to scroll down and let you take a look at a cartoon. I want you to use what you can see in the picture and what you already know from experience to make an inference about what is happening to the boy in the picture. So take a minute and look that over. Okay, so let's start with the details from the cartoon or what we can see. There is a bottle of hot sauce on the table, and it looks like some of that hot sauce is already all over the boy's plate. We can also see some smoke and flames coming out of his ears, and looking at his facial expression, he looks pretty uncomfortable to me. Now let's talk about what we already know. We know that hot sauce can be very spicy and that it can cause a burning or painful sensation in your mouth if you eat too much of it at once. So we're going to use what we can see in the picture and what we already know to infer that that boy is uncomfortable and he does not want any more hot sauce on his food. Pat yourself on the back if you came to the same conclusion. Good for you. Now we're going to scroll down to the first passage. I'm going to read this passage to you. Let's start by looking at the title. The Travels of the Potato. It's by Marie Schaefer. And we're going to take a look at the genre, which is history article. And we're going to use those two things to make a prediction about what we are reading about. So what do you think this article is about? The Travels of the Potato, and it's a history article. Well, your guess is as good as any. Let's take a look down at the close reader habits and find out what it is we might be looking for. So I'm over here in the close reader habits box, and it says, think about key details in the passage that help you make inferences. Then underline key details that describe the events that brought the potato to Europe. So I know you guys cannot underline. That's okay. I want you to use your imagination to highlight in your mind key details that might give you information about how the potato was brought to Europe. Let's go back up to the top. This passage is only 2 paragraphs, so I'm going to read it to you. Please follow along and remember to highlight. The potato plant is native to the Andes mountain region of South America. This is where it first appeared and thrived. The ancient Incas were the first people known to eat the potato. It is an excellent food source, one that provides both energy and vitamins. During the 1500s, Spanish explorers to that region encountered the potato. They had never seen it before. By the 1600s, potatoes were grown in many places in Spain. Early on, some Europeans shunned the potato. Scientists learned that it was closely related to some poisonous plants. But some European doctors accepted the potato as a medicine and used it to treat common illnesses. By the early 1700s, potatoes were being raised in England as a food crop. The plants grew well in the cool, moist climate. Soon the potato became a major food staple, particularly in Ireland. Finally, in 1719, immigrants from England and Ireland introduced the new potato to the New England area of North America. It was brought from the Andes mountain region of South America all the way up to Europe, Spain and Ireland in Europe, back over to the New England area of North America. Now, I'm going to scroll down and show you the graphic organizer, and I want you to take just a moment to think about how you would fill in the first part of this chart. Take a look at the text evidence, think about what you know from experience, and try to come up with at least 2 inferences. I'll give you a moment to do that. Okay, so let's think about this. The potato plant is native to the Andes Mountain region of South America. I remember reading that. That was in the text. Spanish explorers had never seen it before. I remember reading that. And by the 1600s, potatoes were grown in many places in Spain. What I know from experience is that people who travel often have to eat new foods. Sometimes when you're at home, you get used to eating the same foods that are available to you, whether it's in the grocery store or if you grow them at home yourself, if you're an agriculturalist. But when you travel, the same foods that you're used to might not be available, and sometimes that means you have to try new food. I also know that when people travel, especially out of the country, they tend to bring things from home with them because they don't know what's going to be available to them when they get where they're going. So one inference that I can make based on what the text said and what I know is that Spanish explorers decided that potatoes were good to eat and that they brought the potato back to Spain. So those are my 2 inferences about how the potato began its journey from South America to North America through Europe. A third inference that I can make is that people in Spain started raising potatoes for food. It doesn't say that directly in the text, but it says that Europeans decided that it was safe to eat and that they brought it with them to North America. So that tells me that they decided that potatoes were safe to eat and started raising it as a food crop. Did you come to the same conclusion? Good for you. Kiss your brain and pat yourself on the back if you came to the same conclusion or you made another inference in the text that I didn't talk about just now. That's it for this portion of the ELA lesson. I want you to return to the classwork section of your ELA assignment and start working on the next step.